Hello, good morning, and welcome to a cozy little coffee chat. I want to do something like fun and casual this week because I had a bigger video planned, but I filmed it and then I hated it. So instead, because this video is going up October 30th, I thought we would address the elephant in the writing space, NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo is dead. Long live NaNoWriMo. So get comfy, get cozy wherever you are. I'm drinking a Diet Coke, but I put it in this cute little mug to make it more fun and cute. I am going to be going back in the office almost full time in a couple of weeks, so to enjoy my last moments of freedom, I'm doing fun stuff such as having pajama days. This is a purposeful pajama day. I didn't sleep in these pajamas, but I put them on when I got up because they're cute and cozy. And I've got this little Ophelia blanket. Might be an Easter egg for an upcoming video. Who's to say? Okay, I lied. It's actually a little bit too warm in here for a blanket, but the blanket's there. The vibes of the blanket are there. The cozy vibes exist. So get yourself a tea, a coffee, a Diet Coke, some water, and just get comfy and let's have a little think about NaNoWriMo. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what NaNoWriMo is and the downfall of NaNoWriMo, and talk about some of the initiatives that are popping up to replace NaNoWriMo, and finally, what you can do instead of doing NaNoWriMo, because NaNoWriMo is dead. Long live NaNoWriMo. We can do whatever we want. There's no rules. This is our house. We make the rules, as Taylor Swift once said, and this is my apartment, and I make the rules. So if you're here with me, the rules are that there's no rules except you have to be nice to my dog. So first of all, what is NaNoWriMo? NaNoWriMo is the shortened version of National Novel Writing Month. It originally started in 1999 by a guy named Shakespeare. You gonna be a good girl? Okay, you can go right in front. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, if you have a pet, they can also join us. So, NaNoWriMo was started in 1999 by Chris Brady. I don't know how to say his name, and I didn't look it up. He started it in San Francisco with like 20 other people, and then it became a huge global phenomenon by the time that it shut down this year. The original NaNoWriMo was actually in July, but then they switched it to be in November because they wanted to like have something fun to look forward to in an otherwise dreary month, which I personally love November. I mean, other than the seasonal depression that usually hits, but like usually the seasonal depression hasn't fully hit, and then it's just like nice and chilly and I get to wear sweaters, so just some food for thought there. And the goal of NaNoWriMo is simple: write 50,000 words in the month of November. You have 30 days. You are supposed to start at midnight on November 1st, and you have to be done by 11:59 p.m. on November 30th. And the idea behind it is you're supposed to start a new project and just kind of like furiously write and let yourself write a shitty first draft and just pour words out and start a new project. So the number 50,000 words is completely arbitrary. I tried looking up why 50,000 words, and I couldn't find any like actual information from NaNoWriMo. I mean, their website has been taken down, so it makes sense. However, most of their website is archived on the Internet Archive, so if you're ever interested, you can go kind of like click around and see some stuff. But 50,000 words is kind of like the length of a longer novella or a very short novel. So that's kind of the thought behind it. Is it's not that it's going to be a complete draft, but it's going to be a substantial amount of a draft. There's other rules, like it has to be something new, can't be something you've already worked on. Anything that you wrote before or after November like doesn't count towards the challenge. The idea is that like now you have enough written that you can, in theory, then like continue, and like odds are you're going to keep going because you already have so much written, you know? We've lost Shakespeare. And NaNoWriMo was an official nonprofit up until March of this year when they quite abruptly shut down. There are quite a few reasons for that, including they used to have like chat room message boards on their website, and one of the moderators, or maybe multiple, this is just what I have seen and what I've heard, so I don't know details, but I know overall that this is true. At least one moderator was grooming children in the chats, so that was a big scandal. They took away chat rooms, and then every year NaNoWriMo would have different sponsors. You know, they're a nonprofit, it makes sense, but last year they partnered with an AI writing software, which AI does not belong in the creative writing space, and if you disagree, I don't know, go ask ChatGPT to form a comeback, I guess. And because of that, they just kind of lost a lot of funding, a lot of support, and they abruptly shut down in March of 2025 this year. So this is the first year of there not being any NaNoWriMo official nonprofit organization. Last year, I will say a lot of people didn't participate, myself included, because of the AI of it all, which makes sense. And now that it's gone, there's kind of this power vacuum, if you will. It's kind of like when a dictator dies or something, and suddenly everybody's vying for power and to fill the void, because NaNoWriMo has been such a popular thing for the last, 20, 25 years. That's most of my life, not all of it, but most of it. But now there's some other organizations out there doing great stuff, and also you can just make NaNoWriMo whatever you want. So I'm going to talk about 2 NaNoWriMo alternatives that I've seen talked about a lot. Honestly, there's not a good, obviously there's not a good replacement yet. NaNoWriMo is, I assume, copyrighted, so there can't just be a new organization with the same name. But the 2 that I've seen other author tubers talking about, first of all, is NaNoWriMo 2.0. This is basically just a website with information about NaNoWriMo and about the issues that caused the original NaNoWriMo to shut down. It's just a very basic informational website. It's not really a challenge. So if you want to personally just do NaNoWriMo for yourself, there's no tracking, there's no message boards, anything like that. But the website exists with just information and resources for doing NaNoWriMo, past interviews and blog posts and tips and tricks and stuff like that. They have a resources page, and they also have very detailed information about the controversies with the original NaNoWriMo nonprofit. So if you're interested in getting more of the tea, they have a whole Google Doc with a timeline of NaNoWriMo being problematic. And the other one I saw that is more of a direct replacement of Nano is called Readsy, which is, I guess, a writing software. I've never used it. I'd never heard of it before this. I assume it's, from my initial look, it looked kind of similar to Scrivener, which I use, and they are doing a challenge where, you have to write 50,000 words in the month of November using their software specifically, and you have to write everything in there. You can't copy and paste it in. From a marketing perspective, genius, because they're actually giving out prizes to completers. So anyone who completes NaNoWriMo gets entered to win. There's 3 grand prizes. First place is thousands of dollars in introduction with a literary agent. Second place is same thing but less money. Third place, same thing but less money. So if you are interested in trying out their new software, they have a free version, and if you write 50,000 words, you get 3 months free of their premium version. Again, it is a marketing tactic. It is a way to get people to use their software, but there are worse ways to market something than offering people the chance to win money and introduction to literary agents. It's cool. It's cool in its own fun way. One thing that's really fun about NaNoWriMo, the organization no longer existing, is that you can just do whatever you want. NaNoWriMo is short for National Novel Writing Month. It's a made-up thing, but now we get to reclaim that and say it is National Novel Writing Month, and novel writing can look very different to a lot of people. So NaNoWriMo is dead, long live NaNoWriMo, let's make it whatever we want it to be. It doesn't have to be writing 50,000 words. It can be, if that's something that you feel is motivating and challenging to you, that's a great goal. Write your 50,000 words. I'm sure you're going to crush it. But there are other ways to write a novel than starting something from scratch, starting with an arbitrary day and an arbitrary word count goal. Because honestly, most books, and I'm saying this for adult fiction, even nonfiction, are over 50,000 words. My novel that came out last year, it's on the wall behind me here, Daisy Plucked by me, C.E. Withrow. It's a YA sapphic Hamlet retelling. It's a modern retelling. I love Hamlet. I love women. And that's how the book was born. But that is, I want to say, around 86,000 words, and that's a YA book, and that's kind of a normal range is 80 to 90,000 for a YA. So in adult books can be a little bit longer even. Yeah, it's interesting that 50,000 words is what was chosen, because it's not a complete draft. I don't know. I don't know Chris Brady. I don't know what his thought process was, and I couldn't find any information about it from my brief research. I didn't do too much research. I wanted this to be like a casual, chatty, cozy little video. So personally, what I'm going to challenge myself to do in November for NaNoWriMo is to write every day. I'm currently working on the first draft of a Deal with the Devil rock star novel, also sapphic, about a girl named Dahlia. Story starts on her 25th birthday, and she's been kicked out of her former band. Her career is kind of on the rocks. She thinks that like she's about to be washed up, and then she meets this producer who turns out to be a demon, and they make music together. It's a whole thing. I love it so far. I'm probably like 30,000 words in. I've been writing it for a couple of months, but I've been really bad with consistency with it personally. And so my goal for November is that every single day I'm going to write. It doesn't matter how many words it is. It's just I want to write something every day. And finding time in my schedule to like sit down and carve out time to write, even if it's like 100 words. I can write a sentence and then my brain is just like, I don't have anything left. And that's okay, because my goal is just to write something. I think if you're like me and you're really struggling with consistency, I don't know if this is also because it's like an ADHD thing, what have you, but I think that it's a really good goal to just set to write every day, because I think that building that habit over the course of a month can be really valuable. If you're doing something for 30 days, odds are you could do it for 60 days. You could do it for 90 days. You could do it till you finish your draft. And also like being in the story every day makes it easier to pick up and write, because like right now I haven't written in like a week, which is crazy that I'm making like writing content, and I wouldn't say I'm in a writing slump. It's just that I have ADHD and I'm currently kind of hyper fixated on this whole YouTube thing. And the video that I scrapped, I put a lot of time into before deciding that I hated it, which is always so fun and cute. But I am going to be like remaking it. It's not important. But my goal is going to be write every day. Other goals could be, doing all of your pre-work before you actually start writing a book. You could, build your playlist, write your outline, develop your characters. I have a handful of character prompts that I can share if anyone is interested, that can really help you like get into your character's mindset in their day-to-day so that you can understand them as people before you're writing about them. You could try out like different writing routines. You could try out writing in a coffee shop. You could challenge yourself to write in like a different place every day. So it's like, okay, today I wrote on my couch, so tomorrow I can't write on my couch, so I have to write at my desk. And I wrote on my desk, now I'm going to write in bed. Now I'm going to write in a coffee shop. I'm going to write on my porch or at my parents' house, and just try out different places, different parts of your routine to see what really works for you. Try maybe different times of day. The possibilities are endless. You can write anywhere with anything. You can try out writing on your laptop, on your desktop, if you have one of those. I don't know many people that still have desktop computers, but if you do, cool. I used to write on my iPad for a while, maybe even write on your phone. Like Scrivener has a phone app, Google Docs has a phone app. You can write on there, why not? If you already have a draft of a project that maybe has been sitting abandoned for a while, you could start working on draft 2 of that. Start editing something new, start editing that second draft, rewriting it, just like set the goal to like actually dive into it. I know that there's a book that I have kind of shelved that I'm not working on right now, but I think that if I wasn't working on my current project, it could be interesting to pick it up and try to start like really diving into draft 2. It needs some major changes that I haven't figured all the changes out yet that it needs to work. So it's just kind of off to the side. I think another thing, if you want to like try different like genres and types of writing, you could maybe try working on something nonfiction for the month. If you usually write fiction, write about your life, write about things that you've gone through that you think other people could relate to. I think some good inspiration for that is like Eli Rallo is an incredible nonfiction writer that I love. Roxane Gay is incredible. You could also try maybe writing a poem every day if you want to get back into poetry. That is something that I considered for this month, because I do want to get back into poetry. I used to be huge into poetry, and then my poetry professor passed away really unexpectedly right after my last class with her ended, like a couple weeks later. And poetry has been really hard for me since then. And honestly, I've only written a handful of poems in the last 5 or 6 years because it's just a lot. So you can challenge yourself to whatever it is that you've been thinking of doing with writing. So maybe you've only ever written contemporary and you really want to try sci-fi. Another thing, if you have a project that you've had the idea for that like, oh, I'm going to have to do a bunch of research before I can actually start writing this. Let's say you're writing historical romance, and so now you can take the month to just like go research that historical time period, conventions, things like that, to like really get a good feel for it, and just dedicate the month to like every day I'm going to research something, find sources, take notes. There's no end to possibilities of things that have to do with writing that aren't just writing that you could dedicate yourself to. And, you know, maybe if you have like a finished draft that you're ready to start querying, but you kind of like don't know where to start, maybe take this month and like really research querying, really like try to write your query letter, get help from other people about it, work on your query letter, maybe like go through manuscript wish list, start finding some agents that you want to query. You know, the possibilities are endless. It's up to you. Do whatever feels right for you. And if you made it to this point in the video, drop in the comments like what your plans are for Nano, if you're trying to do the 50,000 words, if you have other goals. I want to hear about it. And Shakespeare is informing me that it is time for me to stop talking and start paying attention to her. So I gotta go do that. Have a wonderful day and happy writing. You want to say bye, Spear? And that's on period. Bye.